Thank you so much for watching Landumc Goes There. Please subscribe and hit the like button and the bell notification button. Once Upon a Time in the West is a 1968 spaghetti western film that was directed by Sergio Leone. It stars Henry Fonda, who's cast against his normal character type, where he plays a villain in this film. Charles Bronson as his nemesis, Jason Robards as a bandit, and Claudia Cardinelli as a newly widowed homesteader. The storyline for the movie goes that the beautiful Jill McBain, married in New Orleans just a month ago, arrives at her new husband's place to find him and his children dead. Also new in this area is a man known only as Harmonica. He's met by 3 gunmen who he soon dispatches. All of the men, those at McBain's and the train depot, wore long coats, which is a trademark of the local bandit Cheyenne and his gang. But it's Frank, who works for a railroad baron who wants McBain's land and is trying to frame Cheyenne for the killing. Harmonica has his own reasons for seeing Frank, leading to a showdown. If someone ever wants to give a class in visual storytelling, all you have to do is show the beginning scene of this movie, because Sergio Leone and his team did it to perfection. They completely nailed what they were trying to achieve. And it really is probably one of the best introductions to a movie that you'll ever see. The director Leone originally planned to retire from westerns before making this film. After he finished The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, he had decided to completely give up this genre, feeling that he has said about everything he could say about the Old West. And he wanted to focus his efforts on adapting Harry Gray's The Hoods into Once Upon a Time in America. But he struggled to get that crime epic off the ground, and he accepted the offer from Paramount Pictures to do a western with Henry Fonda, who was his favorite actor since childhood. The first draft of the script was 436 pages long. Leone recruited both Dario Argento and Bernardo Butralucci to help him put together the story for Once Upon a Time in the West. They did this by watching their favorite westerns and writing a script out of the sorted greatest hits collections from their favorite scenes in movies like The Searchers and High Noon. An average feature-length screenplay will be around 90 to 120 pages in length as a general rule. It usually equates to about 1 page equaling 1 minute of screen time. But the first draft of this script shot to a whopping amount, reaching over 400 pages long. Henry Fonda originally turned down the film, but you see, Fonda was Leone's favorite actor since childhood, and the absolute only reason he would make the film with Paramount was to be able to work with him. Leone flew to the U.S. and met with him and explained how effective it would be to see Fonda's character playing against his normal type, for him to be a gun-toting villain. All this managed to change Fonda's mind. The director offered the role of the sheriff of Flagstone to Robert Ryan, who was also one of his favorite actors. But Ryan turned it down in favor of a much larger role in Sam Peckinpah's The Wild Bunch. Kirk Douglas also lobbied to be in the film. He wanted the role of Cheyenne. He had been a huge Leone fan, but none of this ended up landing him the part. Originally, the director wanted to cast his trio from his previous movie, The Good, Bad, and the Ugly, that being Clint Eastwood, Lee Van Cleef, and Eli Wallach. He wanted to use them as the 3 gunmen in the opening scene. Eastwood flat out turned down the role because he just wasn't interested in doing any more spaghetti westerns with the director. This led to a rift between the actor and the director that wasn't patched up until a few months before Leone's death. After shooting the entire Dollars trilogy in Spain, Leone took his cast and crew to the United States to shoot some of the scenes for the film. They used Monument Valley in the film, which appeared in tons of classic John Ford westerns. This made this movie the first ever spaghetti western to actually be shot in America. While Paramount executives didn't interfere with Leone during filming, they did step in during the editing, and they cut out 20 minutes from his final cut of the film. The entire tavern sequence and Cheyenne's death were cut. This all led to negative reviews at the box office. This interference was really pretty mild, though, compared to the hatchet job that the studio directors would end up doing to Leone's final movie, Once Upon a Time in America. The director uses many references to other films that influenced him and his career. There are some of them that are pretty obvious, like The Three Men Waiting for the Train, as in High Noon from 1952, and there are some that are very subtle, like the choice of Woody Strode's sawed-off Winchester rifle, similar to the weapon that Steve McQueen carried in Wanted, Dead or Alive. Clocks are also a recurring image. Many of them are simply painted or incomplete. All of this reflecting the theme of time noted in the title. This is the only movie that Sergio Leone does that has a strong female lead. The director had been previously criticized for his depiction of women in his movies. When his co-writers suggested that they include a female lead, it took a lot of convincing to get Leone on board with this. Initially, the director only budged on this subject by suggesting that the introductory shot of Jill would be shown from below the train platform so that the camera could see under Jill's dress, revealing that she wasn't wearing any undergarments at all. It's actually said that Claudia Cardinelli was never told of this idea, and that if she was told about it, she probably would have never agreed to be in the movie, or at least to do that shot the way the director envisioned it. Lucky for her, Leone gave up on the idea in the writing process, and it never made it to a debate in filming. Go back and watch this masterpiece of a film. You won't regret it. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll continue to chase the classics.